This Week in Action.
Maniac!
Could be something.
Talk to the developers.
Are you playing with my emotions?
Let's get sad and then
Too good to be true.
That's not what they did here. When's the money going?
what other horror stories could come of this?
We love Tencent.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Action Podcast 38. Now, before anybody says anything, I already know what I'm going to hear. Aaron, Halloween is over. Why are you dressed up? It doesn't make sense. And obviously that would make that is true. This podcast, this little thing we were going to do, this shindig was going to happen on Monday. Then unfortunately, I got 4 kids, so we had to go out early, and then they had work, and then Daft was a wizard, and it just didn't work out time-wise. So we decided our Halloween costumes, we were going to save them for this podcast. So thank you all for joining us today. My name is Aaron, and this is our new kind of setup. Okay, we got new borders. We have thank you Patreon scrolling on the screen. And with me, as always, is 2 of my friends, 2 of my moderators, 2 of my leaders, the ones that truly run the channel, Daft and Guilty. Say hello, gentlemen. Daft.
Hello. Hello.
That was so loud because you guys did it at the same time. All right. Guilty, what is your costume?
What do you mean?
Like, what are you supposed to be?
I don't know what you mean.
Are you like a scary clown? Or are you just like a down on your luck mime? Like what?
I just woke up this morning, man.
I see. You're not even in a costume, is what
This
you're
is the
saying.
inner me.
I see. I see. Daft, what are you?
Some type of mage type thing.
Let me see that staff. Bring that closer. Is it glowing? What is that?
It is glowing. Careful.
Why? Is it going to fall off?
The way it's set, yes, because I had to. My son knocked it over today, so I had to reset
I got it.
Is it paraphernalia?
it. Yes. Oh wait, it's on camera. Where are you at?
Yes.
No. I can. Yeah.
Called it.
Oh, no. You got to pull it over a little bit.
Yeah.
No, the other
hold
way.
on.
There it is.
Everything's backwards. Yeah, it's got this little glowy thing. It's got this coil around it. It also had some beads on it, but those fell off. Like there was little hangy things that my wife put on it. It was pretty cool.
That's neat.
But yeah, it was very fun. This is actually a very old stick. If you look at it, it's very old. I made this thing probably like 25, 30 years ago.
So you're saying it's not just made out of plastic, is what you're saying?
No, that's actually a piece of driftwood that I picked up off the beach, like in '97. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Good year.
Now,
Good year.
for me, I'm sure most of you know, or maybe saw, that on Monday I did a Halloween stream, and I was an Idaho potato farmer, and I was wearing this hat. But I can't wear this. I guess I could wear it like this now, but I can't wear this hat with my headphones because it doesn't work correctly. So I'm just wearing my regular Action RPG hat. But I
feel as though they would wear that hat anyway.
I do have a Charlotte behind me for Charlotte's Web. So this will be the last time that this will stay up, but I had to keep it up for the podcast. Did you guys do anything fun for Halloween? Or are you guys just boring old guys?
I watched movies.
All right, that's boring.
Hang out. Yeah. We did a little of the candy thing with the neighborhood kids. Our son wanted nothing to do with it. He's like, I got a competition tonight, Dad. All right, dude, you do you. So yeah, Ollie wasn't into it. But yeah, we just kind of hung out, watched some scary stuff. Nothing too crazy.
But like
pretty mellow.
what's scary? Like what level of scary?
We did the whole, well, not super scary, but like Hellraiser.
Yeah.
It's one of my
Which
wife's-
Hellraiser?
The new one?
We
It was
watched
actually halfway decent.
We watched, I think, 3 of them together. So
3?
basically, the first three.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes.
CD player, man. The CD player
Yes.
Cenobyte is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
Yes. Yes.
That's why that's one of my top favorite Hellraiser movies.
I can't
Yeah.
stop looking at Guilty and feeling scared. I don't know what it is. He
Whoa.
just looks
A little
horrible.
creepy.
I mean,
it almost looks like it's normal. That's what's creepy.
I feel like you need a cigar or something like.
I have my cigars, but I don't break them out in the house because Cecilia doesn't like the smell of cigars.
That actually,
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But you at least have some alcohol or something. You need like a cigarette in your ear, maybe. Maybe that would work. Yeah, that would work. All right. So welcome. Thank you all for coming.
Yes. Bear with our costumes.
No, this is great. So, of course, we have a great show planned for you as always. We always go through certain topics that happen throughout the week and talk about games, talk about the gaming genre, any big drama or news, and not a whole ton actually has happened this week, but we are going to start with some Torchlight Infinite. And we actually have a new follower that just showed up and followed and said, Aaron, do you know what server update is for? And this is Senti? Senti in chat? Hello and welcome.
Senti, how you doing?
And to answer that question, it is bug fixes, and I think they said the FE Flame Elementium, they're like going to make it shinier and look different from a 2D art perspective or something like that. I don't remember seeing any major news that I need to cover. I think it's a pretty small maintenance.
It wasn't mind blowing.
It was not.
No, they got to pick up the pace, guys. Do you think so?
Torchlight?
Or
Yeah,
any
no.
of them right now.
Well, any of them, but I was talking about last Epoch.
No. We'll get to Last
yes,
Epoch. Actually, that's fine. You know what? Let's start with Last Epoch. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Yeah.
So in chat today,
Give them
the
some more.
conversation was going on. Last Epoch's my favorite action RPG of the last 3 years. I've made 246 videos on YouTube for it, and I think 48 build guides. So at this point, I have played a lot of Last Epoch. And the conversation was, did Last Epoch basically miss their opportunity? Did they miss the mark? Have they taken too long? Is it now a forgotten title? Basically, did 11th Hour Games screw up? Daft, what do you have?
I did see that today, and it made me think. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if they've missed the boat as much, but they are kind of feel a little. It's more of the same from 11th Hour Games. They don't typically give us a lot because they don't want to give us too much that we expect things that they might not deliver on.
Yeah.
But I think this is a crucial point where they've gotten people's attention. They've got the CT going, but it feels like there's this long drawl to like get to the next stage where it seems a little, I don't know, slow, if you will. I don't know other words to use. It just feels a little drawn out at this point. Like, what are you guys going to do? Like, can we release so we can talk about the NDA, so we can play together, so we can get some buzz out there, so we could do a podcast like this and possibly play, anything to get it out there, just in the public eye right now. It just feels
guilty. Could they lift the NDA from talking about it, but not playing the game? Like,
yeah, they could make us sign a new, and they could update it.
And just say,
Right.
hey, you guys can now talk about anything you're experiencing, but you can't show video, right?
Yeah, and they could even narrow down what we can talk to. Like, to put it in perspective, you and I and Daft were on NDA to talk about only certain things when we were with Torchlight Infinite, Torchlight Infinite creators. We could talk about the game. They wanted us to talk about very specific things and nothing negative.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's that kind of goes without saying. Yeah, here you go. You can have access. Don't say anything dumb.
I don't know if there is a single bigger fanboy of Last Epoch than myself. As far as like, when was the last time you heard? Like, when was the last time you heard me say, "Man, this game sucks"? Like, normally it's always positive. I love the studio. I love the relationship I've built over the years. I love the game. I love making guides for it. I love interacting with the community. If they don't get multiplayer out in 2022, I will be worried. Okay.
They should have it out by the end of the year. We already have it.
We're already in November.
We already have it. It's already a thing.
The fact that we are now at the AMD RDNA 3, my hat fell off, launch, or not launch event. So hearing about it, we're not playing Last Epoch multiplayer, and the NDA hasn't lifted, and we haven't even because normally it'll be like, hey, like we'll get a release date weeks and weeks before. So not even the communication has come out. So I'm just nervous. I don't know. I just feel.
Did you see Hoser?
I know. I'm purposely.
Vaporware.
I'm purposely ignoring Hoser.
And I know it's not, but it has a weird kind of ghost towny feel right now. Is probably the best way to put it. You're like not really sure what to expect right now. Like even as in the CT, it's like I don't really know where we're going right now.
I go to
what are we waiting for? When
I'm streaming and the stream's over and I go to raid someone playing Last Epoch, sometimes there's a single person in the world with 2 viewers, you know, and it feels bad. Man, like
well, what are they playing against?
11th hour
games that just dropped?
I mean, the games we've been playing.
The attention span of a person. Yeah. What is it like? Non-existent now?
I think it's a couple things, okay? And just hear me out before you say, you just love them. I think it's, so think of Boardman, right? Boardman.
I don't, but go on.
One of the biggest, known from the beginning, guides, had the biggest YouTube channel for Last Epoch when 085 dropped. And he said specifically, I'm going to be taking a break from Last Epoch because 084 to 085 did not add enough for me to continue to cover the game, right?
Yeah.
So you're up against an update that was much smaller and skipping 086 and nothing new coming to the game even months after 086 was due. So you're talking about literally almost 8 or 9 month time where there's nothing, maybe longer than that. When did 084 come out? Like it's been.
We know that there were other things going on.
Checking.
Yeah, but there were other things going on with Boardman. You know,
sure.
I can't really. But if you were to say you didn't want to make, that would be different. But him saying it, like there were other things going on.
I mean, I don't listen. Daft.
Like
patch
life stuff where we're just talking about covering the game.
Patch 084 for Last Epoch dropped December 10th, 2021. December. So you're talking about almost 1 year.
Yeah.
Since anything has come to the game. That's substantial.
That's true.
With the
added, got something, just everyone else did.
with the added competition of Undecember and Torchlight and any game that has come out, the people that are playing Vampire Survivors and V Rising and freaking what other big games are out right now?
I'm not even big games, roguelite, anything. I'm just playing games at this point just to kind of play games. Some of the games, you know, like Undecember, Torchlight, some other stuff, but
so you've named games that are released. That's where you're making your mistakes. Last Epoch is an unfinished, unreleased game.
It is. But it seems
we
like
already have multiplayer. It works and it's very smooth.
But they are smart. It's like if there's nobody playing now, releasing it multiplayer in an unfinished bad state is not going to reach. Like at this point, it's like, okay, so at this point, they've been waiting that long. What's one more month to make sure it is perfect and we nail it? Like, I think that makes sense. But if it doesn't come in 2022, like,
it has to release this year. It has to release this year.
But when you ask Aaron, what is 1 month in our state of gaming, 1 month is kind of big.
Yeah, 1 week is big.
You know, there's so many things out that people just start playing other things and then other things come out eventually and you just kind of stay on that bandwagon.
So
how long did you play Path of Exile League this season, Daft?
About a week.
Right, and that's an established King of the Mountain game.
Yeah. So the attention span of players is pretty it's all over the place.
You've experienced it before.
I don't know, Aaron, what do you think?
First off, Atera, thank you for the sub. You'll get a hat flip on the next stream. I have alerts turned off. And Shin, hello. Rich, hello.
Hey, Shin.
D4 might be out before LE. Don't say stuff like that.
No, see, if they release D4 before LE, it'll be in the broken we have to fix it form. That doesn't count. Like D3 was in the broken we have to fix it form, and pretty much everything else they released. Some things just weren't fixable. Looking at you, Warcraft 3.
Sure.
I think we get multiplayer this year, even if it's last month of December, like as a Christmas, here's a Christmas present or a Christmas miracle or however you want to say it. I think we get it this year. I think we get it this year. And I think once multiplayer's out and we get 090 and it's 090 A, B, C, D, E, F, which is going to drop so fast because they need to fix all the bugs that are going to come with multiplayer. Once it's like, okay, it's smooth, I think the masteries come fast. I honestly think the masteries come fast. Mike has already talked about how they've updated all the plans. They've got everything like written out. They are now actively building the masteries. So I don't know. I think Q1 potentially we could get the game to drop. Maybe mid next year, fully dropped. Which would coincide with potentially D4, that would.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, so we have some people. Tornux, looks like Tornux, Rich, Atrera. They are like saying Path of Exile sucks. Ziz isn't even playing PoE, and someone said they lost all hope for LE, and they don't think that multiplayer is going to even matter. Multiplayer actually is very smooth.
Yes, it is.
Build we have, it's actually, and it's been very fun.
But some people don't. But like, you know, Tori could just be like,
people don't do it.
Right. I play only single player, so it doesn't mean anything to me. But that being said, you're gonna get a lot of added features than just multiplayer.
Oh yeah. There's a lot more in the game in the build that's going around for CT right now.
It should feel like 2 patches in one. Like it is a lot. Coming to it.
That's true. I mean, it is very updated. It is very clean. It is like Guilty saying we've played together and it was perfectly fine, smooth, and the whole bit. So for me, it's just like, what are we waiting for at this point? What are we trying to fix that's going to make such a difference by releasing the NDA? Yeah, and I think that's what it is. They don't want to jump in the cold water, basically.
Yeah,
it's
a fear
keep putting their toe in it. Yeah, put your toe in it. Don't jump in.
Yeah. We just gotta get Judd drunk and have him over and then have him release.
Like there's a big red button. Like he hits the red button and it just drops it.
The button is on Steam. Just upload the final build. Say it's released. There you go. There's your red button.
Right.
I know stuff that's coming in the future for Last Epoch. I know their plan. I know their marketing plan. I know how they want to draw in content creators. I know how they want to like almost re-release the game in its form. I know that they are building up for a lot of stuff into the future. So, you know, I know that Last Epoch today, right now, current state, the game's dead. Not many people are playing it. Steam charts are showing not many people are playing it.
Right.
Nobody's streaming it. No one's making content on it other than me and a few people. So, you know, obviously
that might affect morale, you know?
I mean,
oh yeah,
you're going to have
their own creation at this point.
Yeah, you're going to have to pull people back for sure.
Rich has he's like, that's a bad plan for LE. I'm in CT. He is in CT with us. While it's good, it is good. I'm mad on what it actually brings. I would say if you play it solo, like you put thousands of hours into it, Rich. You're probably not big on multiplayer, like even in PoE. You probably solo that mostly, right? There's people that primarily play multiplayer for these games. Like there's people that play D3 primarily for multiplayer, and what you're seeing in the new games that are being developed is they're developing it for that. They know that the market is there for it. Whereas there is still the market that's for solo play, and you have that with Torchlight Infinite right now, and it's booming.
I like Torchlight, but I like Last Epoch too, you know. I do get lots of comments. It's like, Aaron, have you stopped playing Last Epoch? Are you giving up on Last Epoch? Is Torchlight your new main? No, Torchlight is not my new main. I'm just having fun playing a new game. I played Undecember for a full week, streamed it for over 40 hours, and I had fun playing Undecember. I have fun streaming Torchlight, and I'm having fun building build guides for Torchlight because it's a new game. It's something new to explore. It's something new to wrap my hands around. You know, if tomorrow Last Epoch said, hey, we're going to pull a Wolcen Lords of Mayhem and multiplayer's now out, no marketing, no hype, it's just dropped, I would be playing. I would be playing Last Epoch, of course.
I think for us personally, it's the NDA is keeping us away from actually putting a lot of time into it at this point.
I ain't scared no NDA.
It's not that it's scared, but we practically we can't use it to do anything with it. So it's just kind of, all right, as soon as they lift it, we can, start showcasing the game again, playing it, building the hype up, the whole thing. But, at the moment,
we can talk about anything.
Much ado with nothing
publicly.
Of that.
And they released Ziz playing live stream publicly. So we can talk about an awful lot. We just can't talk about anything that happened beyond that stream.
Sure. And we'd have to go watch it and do some really, insightful checking. Okay, don't talk about this. We can talk about this, but not this. I watched that stream.
Well, you could talk about the fonts. You could talk about the NPCs being all new. You could talk about
Judd's super font.
Yeah, how the teams can work together. They've now
I'm so proud of that font.
They've now fully shown off the new golem, so they've showed off the combat for that and what it looks like. So that's all public knowledge now. So yeah, they've shown an awful lot, but ultimately for me, I'm excited to play multiplayer. I'm excited for the NDA to lift, and I'm really hoping they hit the 2022 timeline that Judd said during the stream with Ziz. I think it was Ziz. I don't know, whichever one it was. So
but to answer the question, trading is the primary use of multiplayer currently.
Right.
ARPGs.
I'm not a huge online trader type,
boosting.
So yeah.
Yeah, power boosting a new player to get a new player in your group so that you can trade them later on. And general community.
I think for me, as far as multiplayer goes, it's playing with other classes and then kind of mixing skills and trying to see how well you can play as two different types of characters and together bring things down. Like, oh, you're doing this, I'm going to do this, and this is going to make everything super cool. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to. It's just kind of that aspect of multiplayer. The trading for me is probably going to be nil. I'll do it with like people around me, but I'd never,
for 3 or 4 people. We've been doing that with Torchlight Infinite. We've been meta building and showing people, like, I'll be at work and like, for instance, the other day, Xathius was streaming his gameplay. I was working. It was like Sunday, I think. And I just hopped in and watched while I was working on my phone and listened to what the guys were saying, saw what his build was. And other times had been out smoking a cigar or something, get on my phone. And one of those nights we had like 13 people in, 12, 13 people, and we were doing meta builds. Like, so that's a solo game. That's a solo, like, that's no multiplayer at all.
I will say, and this might be a good transition to Torchlight, that it really has a lot of good things going for it. Torchlight.
Oh yeah, it does. It's
I
great.
try to imagine another end game system. I try to imagine co-op, and I try to imagine the game with a refined UI and UX in a couple areas. Like, more to do, play with friends, feel like a PC game. I mean, and that's and they're already doing co-op, so you know that that's coming. And you know that they're going to be doing seasonal content, which means it's always going to come with a new end game mechanic. And you already know that they're already updating things on the UI and UX. So nothing that I just said isn't going to happen. It just depends. Is this going to take a year like a Wolcen or a Never? Or is this they're going to knock it out? I mean, it's weird thinking that a mobile game that's ported to PC could really carve out, a portion of the ARPG mountain. Because, again, it has something that a lot of games don't have, and that is like the fun factor. It is a fun game. It's got huge screen clearing abilities, and you can go super fast. You could go super slow. It's got uber bosses. It's got crazy loot. It's got a player-driven economy in game that can't be purchased. It has a lot of really good things going for it. And that's, I'm not being paid to say that. Like, I really do enjoy it. I'm not going to make build guides for it if I hate it. I'm not going to make build guides for Undecember. Not going to happen.
So, okay. That brings us to Undecember. We were supposed to, on Monday, the original plan was we were going to stream some Undecember, probably play some Jackbox. Right. Scheduling did not allow for any of that.
None.
We were supposed to start Undecember from the beginning of chapter 5, Aaron? Is that correct?
Yes, chapter 5.
So. Yeah. So, how far did you get in that endeavor before you switched to something else, Daft?
I think I'm in chapter 2.
I got to chapter 4, and I just said no.
The other night when we played was the last time I played Undecember. And it's not because I don't like it, just there's a rotation it falls into of other games, so yeah.
I had already ran through the first 5 chapters with Aaron. We streamed it, and it was fine. The only thing I like about Undecember are the boss fights. I think getting to the boss fights is tedious. I found myself just running past them, like running past all the mobs, just running to the boss rooms, and I still think it's a good game. I just think they need to rebalance it because it's very slow, but like needlessly. Whereas Torchlight Infinite, I think the rate at which you can make it through mobs and the rate at which you can make it through bosses is probably right on the money.
Yeah, Undecember. Again, and I'm very biased. I've probably said this 10 times already. If it is an isometric action RPG where you hack and slash things and the thing dies and I can customize the character and there's loot involved, I am going to have fun with that system.
Sure.
Whatever it is. It doesn't even, Slormancer. Like, I don't care. Like, I love those types of games. That's why I made my channel Action RPG. And I was saying again, like, I thought I was going to hate Undecember. I've heard horrible things about Undecember. Captain Neckbeard said it's the worst game he's ever played. It's getting terrible reviews. It's getting review bombed in Korea. Korea's already abandoned it. This game sucks. But I said, hey, I'm going to give it a fair shake, and I'm going to play it. And I beat Act 1 and Act 2 and Act 3 and Act 4 and Act 5, and I cleared everything, and I had this sentry build, and I was playing with friends, and there's one thing that I've never been able to experience in my entire time on Twitch, and it's me playing a game, and then someone in the chat's like, hey, I'm right around there. Can I play with you? And then they add me as a friend, and like that, I am playing with a community member on stream.
That was very smooth.
And that is such a cool, and that's what my idea has always been for Last Epoch. I'm working on a build and someone wants to jump in and play, and now we are running monoliths together. We're running dungeons together. We're supporting each other. Right. That's what I loved about Undecember. But it's a very slow game. Obviously lots of pay-to-win elements in it, but it does have a guild system. It does have multiplayer. It is very pretty. It's built on Unreal Engine 4. It's got a great skill system. It's got a great passive system. So it's got, lots of crafting. So in its core, Undecember could be this would never happen in a zillion years. Like, it would never happen. But if it's like, oh, mobile's gone and pay to win is gone, and we've refined PC and now we're charging $40 for the game, but all the stuff you normally had to pay for is now free and you could go buy it on Steam. I think they could relaunch it as a successful product, because the core of the game is great. But they would never. That's not
what they're going for. But I agree. It's a fun game. Sometimes I just get burnt on ARPGs in general, and I just rotate. So that's kind of where I'm at. Because my main squeeze right now would be LE, as far as trying to dig into it and play it and make builds or whatever. But mostly lately, I've just been playing other games because of the lull. I feel personally, in LE, I've just been playing other things. So,
I looked it up. I made 17 build guides for 085F. 17 in last Epoch.
That's right.
And that's fully made. That's time stamped. That's in Twitch showing it off. That's build planner. That's loot filter. You know, like I played so much last Epoch over the last year. And I don't want to say I'm burnt out because I can make another build right now and have fun playing it. I just want to play with people. I want to play with you guys. Like, I think that's what I'm waiting for. I want my wife to be able to play.
But I've been playing with people, so that's what I'm saying. It's already here. It's not fair that they need to lift that NDA. It's so stupid. You already streamed the game live as is.
How you doing, Trezito?
Judd, look at me. Look at Clown Guilty. You know what, the space? Just release it, man. It's not going to be perfect. Please don't Star Citizen it.
I think what they're going to do is, you guys might have noticed this, but in the CT server, the update right now is 0.8.9. So right now we're 0.1 away from 0.9. They're incrementally going up. So per the numbering system, we are 0.1 away from 0.9. I'll just count that. I'll count that as a win.
When could that be, though? That's the speculation and the killer. Are we going to be going through all of November just waiting still? Are they going to give us updates?
You know what they should do? They should just say, hey, it's coming out December 20th, and drop this huge communication bubble.
Yeah.
And then the team has to hit it, right? Like,
right. Put some pressure on them too.
Exactly.
Just get her done.
Or if it's like, hey, we're not even close, guys. Like, who the hell are we fooling? Then it's being postponed. You know, as much as that hurts, like, whichever way it is, hey, you're either going to hit it this year or you're not going to hit it this year. I would think that they know if they're going to hit it this year.
You would hope, right?
Guilty?
They need... When knowing... Okay, the best... It's hard to say it in English when you're drinking.
Did you go
when to release something?
Did you go to school? I know you've been living on the street for a while. You're educated.
I'm educated clown.
Okay, just making sure.
When you have a product, in this case, a video game, and it's subjective as to when it's finished, knowing when to release it is hard. And if you are an indie studio who actually cares about the art behind it, the creativity behind it, maybe all of that, and let's face it, Judd pretty much does. He sought financial support, or they sought him out, and he took it, which I would too. But he did not start out that way. He started out on Reddit doing a passion project, which is what this is. Right. And knowing when to release said passion project for him, he probably needs someone else to handle that.
Push.
He's not.
That makes sense. I get you.
Which is the problem with Star Citizen, according to the developers working under the lead. He keeps on making things because he's trying to make like the perfect end all be all game, and you can't do that
for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Or 30 years.
Well, they have
doing that game.
I mean, they have talked about how scope creep has happened a lot, and they want they've redone every armor set now, and any original asset will not be in the 1.0 release. So they're pulling out everything that's original and remastering it, right? Like, they really don't want this to feel like a dated asset pack purchased game. Like, we want it to feel fresh. We want it to feel good. We want it to be smooth. We want to be in the conversation with the PoEs in Diablo. So I understand hey, we started as a passion project on Reddit where we were all working for free, and for some time we were now being compared with Diablo and PoE. Like, that in itself is a huge success story. But now it's like, all right, you're on the 5-yard line. Like, you gotta get it in the end zone.
You gotta get in the red zone, yeah.
You gotta
plunder and kick a field goal.
You gotta score.
To use the reference, yeah.
They were in the conversation with King of the Mountain before they got rid of all their pre-purchased assets.
Sure.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Like, and I can't call the game an asset flip because it has extremely unique properties to it. So again, with it, like I said it in the Patreon only podcast last week. If you guys listened to it, Jeff and I talked, and it was something to the effect of an indie studio has a little bit more difficulties releasing a game because if they need an asset, they either have to make it themselves or purchase it. And well, there's a I guess part of the persons that would buy it would look down on them purchasing assets, right? Yep. Well, what's the difference between paying a team to make it and purchasing it? There's not really objectively a difference.
Objectively, no, but having say over what's made.
Well, yeah, but you can have say over what you purchase. Like,
you can. I guess it's in-house credibility as far as your team. That's what you.
That's our issue. Is everything has to be in-house, and it takes forever, and then your game doesn't release in a timely fashion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of games that will start and then 5, 6 years go by in development, but when the tech you started with becomes dated. So you get to this point where you're like, do we update? Do we keep
and
it
it was
the old
terrible.
tech?
So
Yeah.
don't update. Long story short, don't update.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go back to it after you release and maybe push, but
we're
I don't know.
We're almost 40 minutes in. Okay.
Yeah.
This is where I want to leave Last Epoch. It's my favorite game.
There it is.
No said.
Consider it written. Consider it done. It's not my favorite game of all time. It's just my current favorite. Actually, it's not. My current favorite game as of this moment to play is Torchlight Infinite. My favorite game of the entire year is Last Epoch. And my favorite game ever is Diablo 2. Okay?
Your favorite game of all time is Diablo 2?
Maybe the most influential game.
Okay.
Or ARPG.
That's really hard to pick your favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
A little tough.
Celsius said, I like LE more than D2. I like LE more than PoE. Fight me. This is why we get along.
I think LE is more creative than both of those.
You know what LE has that's over every game? Their crafting system is so good. I love
crafting.
It's not like, it's hard. It's not like it's hard to understand. It's not like it's hard to master. It's not like it's hard to get the shards. It's just like, I feel like Last Epoch has the best crafting system. Actually, their crafting system, their stash, their loot filter, all of that stuff being in-house, it's so good. Even their skill system, with the exception of respecking passives, is the worst. But
really bad.
One word, Swarm Blade that turns into giant man-eating werebear.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
All at the same time.
Yeah,
I said,
doesn't no one else see how awesome that is?
I said last word on Last Epoch, and now I can't stop talking about it because it's your guys' fault.
We keep going.
Okay.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Okay. Torchlight Infinite. Okay.
Alrighty.
You think I should keep making build guides? What do you think?
Do what you want to do.
Mean,
it makes you happy to do it.
I wouldn't see why not. I mean, you could probably, as you play it, build upon the ones you have and tweak them and learn the mechanics better so that you can actually make really, people who've been playing for a while, like Last Epoch, we'll figure out the mechanics and all the little things. I mean, you could do the same thing in Torchlight to refine maybe old builds and go back and reimagine them a little bit. Nothing wrong with that.
What's hard is that basically I make a build and then I sell everything I'm wearing to fund the next build. And then I sell all that crap to make the next one. So I can't go back. I mean, I can go back. I have to repurchase all the gear. But I can't easily
Right.
flip-flop. Where in Last Epoch, it's like, you know, there's not a market, so no reason to sell anything, so I just keep all the crap. But here, since I can buy and sell and make profit off this stuff, if you know how to play the market,
Right.
you know, that's what I've been doing. Torchlight has a pretty good crafting system. I never craft in Torchlight. I
agree with Rich.
I never craft in Torchlight. I sell all my crafting materials and then just buy the stuff that someone's already made for me. But I know I should craft. I know it's not.
It's fantastic. It really is good.
I know.
You could do that. I mean, it's just the other side. You either do the crafting end or you purchase them. I mean, you know.
You know, it's like
crafting end.
Yeah.
I feel like these people. This is already going to be bad. You know, it's the labor of love.
Purchasing people.
It's the labor of love. It's you got the Torchlight person that's building a hot rod in their garage, and they build that hot rod, and then they realize, damn it, I don't need this anymore. My wife told me to get rid of this hot rod. So then they go to the auction house and they put the hot rod in the auction house, and then I go, ooh, this hot rod.
Kind of hot rod.
This hot rod
Rat
is
rod?
at a large discount than what they invested in building this hot rod, and then I buy that instead of crafting it myself. That's this freaking
So,
hat. That's my
having
that's my thought.
like if you built a car yourself, it would mean more than if you bought it.
But to that point as well, not only am I buying that hot rod from them for half of what they spent, I am also the person that sold them the parts to build the hot rod at maximum profit. So
Listen here, Shorosh.
I'm serious.
Mr. George Shorosh.
Right now I've got like almost 380 flames because I sell all my crafting materials and then I just go buy exactly what I want. So anyways, that's just my
So, Celsius 3 is a gotcha system in LE.
he's-
The UI and the gotcha system in LE are my main gripes. Oh, are you talking about Torchlight Infinite TLI?
Yes, Ellie is supposed to say TL. See,
Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Rich is right. Options are better
It's
than
all
no
good,
options.
Celsius.
Absolutely agree with you.
now if anybody out there wants to build a hot rod for me, my next build is a corrosive throw dagger build where we are going to use wilt as dot and then reap it out. It sounds filthy, but me and Celsius were talking. We both have never.
Asmongold over here asking the community to give him stuff.
Yeah, give me gold. That would be cool. Anyways, the point is, for the first time, Celsius is going to help me. We are going to work on a dot build. See how that works.
It work.
That's
Hey,
next.
Dot's actually really, really, really good.
Supposedly
yeah.
it's expensive and it's hard to do because, you know, like if you're playing Last Epoch, so now I'm back on Last Epoch, as many stacks as you can with as much damage over time as you can. That's it. Right? Like damage over time, stacks of that damage. Where here, there's a maximum amount of stacks, and then you have to reap that damage off to put the stacks back on. It is a very different mechanic. So we're going to learn that.
So, okay, speaking about dots, going to Grim Dawn, my favorite build of all time in any ARPG is my Poison Dervish in Grim Dawn. Like, you just pop them you go and shank them prison style, and then you walk away and they collapse from, like, all of the diseases.
And they just...
You just keep on, stabby.
And that's it.
You got to throw some of that in there and stab them again, and you just keep on walking around. And then you have two like shadow people behind you doing the same thing. It's good stuff.
This is going to sound completely random because I don't play the game anymore, but probably one of my favorite builds of all time is PoE and its Skeletal Mage. I love that build. PoE's Skeleton Mage is so much fun. I love it. Whenever you guys get me to play PoE, I always go Skeleton Mage because I love that build.
It's a fun build. I actually tried something new in PoE, and I think I picked the wrong league to try something new in. I may have enjoyed it more if I played something that I was familiar with, but I didn't enjoy it at all. I went Ranger, which I never play. I went Poison, Rain of Arrows, Archer, or whatever.
Right.
I've never done it before. My cousin usually plays that, so I don't. And we play multiplayer because it's one of the things we do because he's in a different state now. I got so bored with that, and it might have been because of the league, or it might have been because I just don't like Archer in that game. Either way, it was pretty terrible. Pretty awful.
Hey, Guilty, you got a little something on your face. Can't. You got a little something.
Do
right?
I?
Got a little something right here.
Something.
Oh, a little something.
So, you're not going to stab me later, right? Just want to make sure.
Might take a while to get there, but maybe.
Nina already got me a plane ticket. We're going to surprise you in the morning.
No, you're already here. That's the surprise.
I'm actually upstairs.
His background's virtual.
Yeah.
It's not really there.
No, I just brought all my books with me. I'm upstairs, second floor.
Good plan.
Broom closet.
Yeah,
The
in the
broom
third
closet,
kitchen.
Yeah, in the third kitchen. The broom closet is 300 square feet.
Celsius says, I also don't expect to ever tailor a game just for me. And I want that to be clear. Sometimes you outgrow a game and sometimes the game outgrows you. That's life.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Nothing is truer. Like Warcraft or anything. Like
I
you
still
see up
want to
here.
play it, but I want to play the new. I am not a Mythic Raider. I just generally enjoy playing with other people, like World of Warcraft. But
Yeah,
I find myself not being able to do it this time around. Probably, maybe I actually have not decided, but I really want to.
I have a question for you guys. What is something that you loved growing up? Like, oh, you were in love with it. Oh, it's the best thing in the world. And then like now that you're adult and it's been 2 decades, and then you go back and see it and you're just like, oh, it doesn't feel the same anymore. That's what makes me when Celsius says sometimes you outgrow a game, sometimes the game outgrows you. That's kind of the first thing that comes to mind is like, I actually really liked D2R, and I thought D2R was great, and I thought Vicarious Visions did a great job on that remaster. Like, man, I don't
rename
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. And it's so crazy when you do the like change back to the old visuals and you play it in that way.
Legacy mode or whatever they call it.
You know? And it's like at that time in my life, it was the best thing in the world. And I would never give up those years playing it. But it's like now when I play it, it's like, oh, you know, it has an old stash tab. Oh, it doesn't have a loot filter. Oh, I have to use stamina potions. Oh, you know, there's just so many O's that I no longer have that I'm so used to.
You just play it modded.
I'm done.
Or you just play it modded and just take out the need for that kind of like quality of life, like the stamina potion type thing. And you can mitigate a little bit of that. And that's what I do when I play D2R. I just play a modded version where it just kind of adds quality of life of typically stuff we're used to now into the game. And then I play it and enjoy it and probably get to the end of the game in like a week and enjoy it and go, okay, I'm done. I'm going to do something else again. That's kind of where D2R falls for me.
So I guess a game that I used to love, any of the original Nintendo games, like I go back and play them now and they don't hold my attention. With the exception of like maybe like the original Zelda.
See, that's so weird for me. When we had a Wii or my kids got a DS, I would go and download some games, and those games would weirdly hold my attention. I always bring up Mario 3 because I love Mario 3 so much.
Oh, that's without
that game would hold my attention. Original Mario Kart,
Classic.
Mario Kart 64, Block Fort, you know, GoldenEye. GoldenEye doesn't hold up very well.
Right.
You know what game holds up? Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark is hilarious.
Perfect Dark
Elvis
holds
is the
up.
best character in any game ever.
Perfect Dark holds up. StarCraft holds up because visuals have never been. Yeah. Red Alert holds up.
Good.
Red Alert holds up.
Remastered is good too.
Yeah, I have it on Steam. I picked up that Red Alert. The entire Command and Conquer. They gave you like a super package. Picked it up like a year and a half ago. Very fun.
My favorite is still Yuri's Revenge. I don't know. Did that get the remaster or not?
What's the name of the What's the name of the game we thought was Red Alert that's coming out, but it's not Red Alert?
Tempest Rising.
Tempest
Looking
Rising.
forward to it.
Let's see if
That
there's
would
any.
be fun.
I put in some overtime on that intro. I had so much fun with that.
Tempest Rising.
That was a fun one. Yeah, we did the whole setup with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I that was my favorite intro so far.
I wonder if there's any new news.
I don't know. I haven't heard much, but I haven't looked specifically for it. I did poke my head and see if it saw anything, but I didn't deep dive.
If when it does come out, I will be playing it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no negative to it. It just looks fantastic.
So this article
looks-
says real-time strategy is back from the brink of death. This is PC Gamer 22 days ago. This is the healthiest the genre has been in the last 10 years. And it
Right.
I'd say so.
goes on to talk about games that are in development: Homeworld 3, Tempest Rising, The Great War, Western Front, Sins of Solara, Empire 2, Company of Heroes 3, Men of War 2, Command & Conquer Remastered, Age of Empires 4, Alien Marauder, Age of Darkness, Stormgate, Dune, and Dune and Terminator are all getting RTS.
Yeah, we did see was it the Dune RTS? We saw that. Technically, the Spice Wars is not an RTS. They call it that. It's getting classified as that. It is a 4X game.
More of a 4X meets
Wait.
RTS, but you can pause and.
Are we talking about Dune Spice Wars, the 4X you're playing, or are you talking about the one that they talked about, that new survival game that's coming out?
I
So,
ignored that. And
The
I know
new
there's an
survival
MMO
game that's
as well.
coming out is actually an MMO, right? It's a survival MMO.
Yeah.
I'm going
Okay,
to guess it's in
okay,
a similar
yeah.
fashion to like V.
Yeah, you're
Rising.
right. You're right. That's what it is.
And that's probably going to be really fun. I'll try it out just because I'm Frank Herbert is a good author and I like his material.
Sure.
The
And his son
three-
did a good job too.
The 3 RTS I'm looking forward to: Company of Heroes 3, Stormgate, Tempest Rising.
Rich is asking about Dark and Darker. You guys know anything
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, I mean, I know what it is, and I signed up for the playtest. Yeah.
I did see something about it. I haven't looked into it too much though, personally.
And Asmongold posted a 2-hour video of himself playing it, so obviously that, like, they just must be
Ruts.
they must be elated. Actually, I don't know if he said it was good or bad. I didn't watch it, so I guess that
Doesn't matter at that point.
right. Just the fact that his
It's just the viewers, yeah. Because his fan base or whatever is going to have their own opinions about games. It's just exposing them to it
Well,
that is the
yeah.
important part.
Brutal Man 314 says Asmon loved it, which is pretty cool because Asmon also liked some other games we play too. So
What's up, Waffles?
oh, Waffles is here. I just
Oh,
can't
Mr.
stop
Waffles.
See
staring.
you.
well, you're not here with your fox, so I had found. Hey, sir, missed that fox.
Guilty. You still got a little something. Your face.
I got a little something.
Little something.
Asmon loved it. He wanted them to extend the alpha yesterday. Oh, now Daft is back in
Uh-uh.
costume.
Oh,
I will.
Where's Frodo? Frodo's gone.
I'll fix it. It's an issue. I'll fix it.
Was it
It's
an
a
issue for
long
the
cloak.
Bagginses?
Well, it's a long cloak that I sit on, so if it gets kind of tucked, so I have to get up and move it. That's
I don't
the
think
thing.
that Elijah Wood was complaining like this when he had to get his finger cut off and chuck a ring into a volcano.
That's the thing. You're right.
I have a question for you guys.
Fire pit to jump in.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you guys. And now, am I opening myself up to punishment? Do I make a survey or a poll this week that says, "Is Torchlight Infinite pay to win?" Question mark.
I mean-
People will say yes just because they heard something.
Right. I mean,
And
honestly,
yes, it will be. I swear it's going to be.
I'm curious
Like,
if
when
it's.
they release PvP and that's actually
right.
I'm
And
curious
that's
if it's 90%. I wonder if it's 90% say yes, if it's 80. Like, I'm actually more curious what that percentage is now that the game's been out. Waste of a poll, not worth it.
Yeah, Rich is right. It's a waste because it's gonna be trash data. You can't ask anyone on the internet.
Right.
It will not be realistic.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to get a realistic answer. Maybe if once PvP and stuff is in, it'll be more relative because right now you're just at best you're trying to be on some ladder. Personal outside, they have a ladder, right? Yeah, they do. So that's all you have.
You know what? I don't even consider it a ladder. They have a hero ranking, which I know is a different name for a ladder, but it doesn't actually give you like a number at where you at, or it is there. Oh, that system makes me so upset. That's part of my,
because they just list the highest level person.
It doesn't actually, you can't click on hero ranking. It'll be like, Daft, you are ranked 14,000th in the world. And here's your statistics. You literally, I have to click on Carino, click on Ranger of Glory, and then scroll down to find myself. And then even there, it doesn't actually give you a number. I have to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm ranked 78th, something like that. So anyways.
They need to ape Diablo 3 in every way possible. Like in that regard, they need to take every aspect of that ladder that they do and just ape it. They're not going to reinvent the wheel on a ladder here.
Right. And that for me is the only part though that for Torchlight with the pay to win, because otherwise it doesn't feel like it when you're just playing with yourself or with your friends and stuff. You just kind of playing the game. The pets for me have been secondary, but I'm not trying to be that guy who's got all the greatest things. It's like I pick up the pets and I get the rolls and stuff, but they're really kind of secondary for me. When I'm just playing the game, it doesn't feel, I don't know. And that's because I don't really care about ladders and all that type of stuff. So that's probably me personally. But those who do get into that vibe or super ultra competitive, they might feel it to be pay to win.
This is something interesting.
Yeah,
let me just touch on this really quick, is that I was working with Shammy. Shammy's been in our Discord. She's one of the Torchlight moderators. And she's like, hey, Aaron, you should try a cold build. These are the skills that I use. And I copy Shammy's skills and I go through and I go to the training dummy. And I got to like...
You cheated.
No, listen. I got to like maybe 6 million at the training dummy. And I'm like, Shammy, I don't understand. My lightning build was doing 77 million. I literally just did what you said, and now I'm doing 6 million. Oh, well, you need certain gear and you need all this other crap and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so it's far worse. So then I do the opposite. I literally go in and I take the talent trees that I think I need. And then I go into my passives and I change it. And then I go into my hero traits and I change it. And then I go into my skills and I change it. And then I start searching different uniques and things that would work with the build. And literally it took me almost 3 hours. I had it to about, it was like 46 million. Okay. But that's my experience. I didn't level. I didn't go and change pets. It was just my knowledge of knowing what to click that helps this and getting gear that actually supports the skills took me from 6 million to almost 50 million in 3 hours. It was like when I was working on the cannon build. Started at 2 million, I got it up to 30 million just by understanding the game. So
just by being on the spectrum. Gotcha.
So point I'm trying to make is that you can't pay for that. You can't pay for knowledge. You can't pay for experience. You can't pay for game understanding. If Guilty was day one and have never played the game and you give him $20,000 and he gets 3 tier 6 legendary pets, he is not going to go and kill the uber boss Keegan because he doesn't know the gear to use. He doesn't know how to tie it all together. He doesn't know the talents. He doesn't know the hero traits. He doesn't know the skills. So point being,
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is that knowledge in Torchlight goes a really, really far way. Really far. And they're still like, I feel like I still know nothing,
Okay, so Rich puts a lot of time into games. Today I killed all 5 T7 Watchers and Travelers in about 5 minutes with only 1 death after I killed the Traveler picking up loot. Then he died. And like for the community, Rich is in the community. He's got thousands of hours in LE and other games.
He does have a lot. I think he's the one that sent me the screenshot of how many hours he has in LE, and I was like,
it's ridiculous.
It's like,
But,
That Discord, if anybody's not there, you want to come hang out? That's where we all
join the Discord. We're active, and we play games sometimes. And at the very least, we're in there making builds and talking to each other. So,
Yep.
yes. In your case, Rich, you need to have the people that created PoE create a new game that's as vast as PoE, but is not PoE. That'll satiate you. You need that skill tree, the brand new skill tree of that size and caliber.
I don't want a skill trees that size.
I mean, see, he can do it.
But it gives you more leeway to make cooler builds, right?
It
Different
gives
builds.
you longer time to do it too.
Yeah, once you learn layout, and if they don't like change the layout of the actual skill tree, like GGG does every once in a while, we're gonna you can memorize it to a degree and maximize your character builds and stuff. So
I will say, and I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this is a disappointment, but it is something interesting about Torchlight. It's like 240 different skills. Okay,
That's true.
right.
but they're counting support links as a different skill, right? Because technically it modifies a skill.
Mm-hmm.
And like Carino, my main, the class that I play, I'm not going to use spell and I'm not going to use melee. So if you eliminate all spell, you eliminate all melee, and you eliminate all minions, okay, how many skills?
Have a single path.
So it's like, okay, so now it's ice, fire, cold, erosion. And out of those, there's like, I don't know, maybe 10 skills, right? And then out of those 10, 4 of them, if you're not using dot, use the exact same links around them. So it's, when you actually understand the game and break it down, it's actually not
Whittle it down.
super complex. It's more about how much can you invest in gear for your character, which is actually something I like, right? Because
So
in last Epoch, you could literally copy and paste my passives, copy and paste my skills, and then you can go craft some basic gear, and you're probably clearing monoliths. Can't do that in Torchlight. You have to have a baseline of decent gear to do it. And how do you do that? You have to get that gear through loot, through hunting, through gathering up resources in order to do it, or crafting.
we when we first developed the prototype for the title we're working on, it's randomly generated, and the prototype had something like 63 billion permutations it could be. And the way we got the number that high was we included everything that could be different in each level, and each room had several different things that could be different in it, and each room could be a different room, and each enemy could be placed in a different spot, and there might be a light here or there might not be a light there, and all those little things added up, but they meant nothing in terms of actual gameplay, because it was still the same maps. The maps could change, but once a single map was generated, randomly picked, and then populated, the map itself would populate with just essentially art, or maybe a room might have 5 enemies or 3 enemies, and they might be placed differently, or a chest might pop up here. And while that is different, it's not massively different, but it sounds that different. It's when you say 63 billion, that's a whole bunch, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
It feels like it, but
I mean, it is, and the actual game is not that much, because it's way too time consuming to make all those assets.
Gotcha.
But the initial prototype, when we were doing just one level and we had all the time to do the one level, sounds big, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's really the same thing over and over.
But Celsius, he's talking about big skill trees, and he's like, lack of builds that can perform in a game with tons of ways to make your builds is a big miss. So like having too much but not knowing how to use it as a player is kind of what I think you're referring to. I kind of agree with that. It can be overwhelming, but I think once you play a game a while, you're going to get different things after a certain point. And doing the cookie cutter builds or doing build guides that we all throw at each other, that's cool, but every once in a while you want to experiment. So that's where I like that ability, because you have so much. But I get your point where there can be too much, and there's something about being a smaller group to pick from because it feels better, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's just not a bunch. Then in order to do it, you have to really know the game. So
Daft, listen to me for a second. Wiggle wiggle your mic cable. It's going in and out.
Damn it. Everything today, guys, has been absolute tech hell. I had the worst tech hell today, guys. Just throwing that out there before this.
I hate tech hell.
It was entertaining.
We
got to watch Daft's tech hell.
I will say right now, when it comes to how many people are excited about Torchlight, how many people are playing Torchlight, and how much YouTube build guides are out there, I actually do think there is a large gap in the market. And that's why I started looking. As a content creator, it's always like, I'm going to go turn into a PoE build guide creator. I would, there's one of 1,000 people that do that. Oh, and you don't want to watch a video? Well, then you go to one of 100 websites. You don't want to do that? There's so much content for that. Torchlight, there is a lot of content creators, but not a lot of them are making detailed build guides. So I was like, okay, I've got a great understanding of the game, and I know Carino, and I have a leveled character. So I was like, I'm having fun, I get to stream it, and I can make build guides. It's like win-win-win, and I'm so used to making build guides in Last Epoch, I literally just lifted that model and brought it over. Now, that being said, I don't want to put out crappy build guides either, so I have a couple things. It has to be able to do 30 million DPS at the training dummy. It's got to have perfect synergy. It can't have crazy expensive gear, and you need to be able to clear tier 7 content fast and efficient. So that's like kind of where I want it at. And then any of my builds can push true end game if you have the hundreds or sometimes thousands to fully gear it out. So that's like kind of what I do with Torchlight, but it's a lot of fun. Hey, by the way, I'm just throwing this out there. By the time season 1 is over, if I have the currency, which you know how like you start to get to the end of a currency and then everything becomes cheap because nobody cares, because it's like you're not going to be able to use the currency in the next season anyways. One of the most expensive builds, from what I understand, is an unarmed build. You literally use no weapon.
A minion build?
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, are you running
I love it when games do something like that. No,
but with Moto, as far as I know,
your mic went out again.
Oh, didn't he? Stop talking. Anyway, with Moto there is a perk you take that allows your minions to benefit from the skill of your main hand. So it does matter. It just doesn't matter in the traditional sense. Also, Moto love you, Moto. We need a bag. There he is.
He's back.
We need
find the weapon that useful. Right.
Yeah, well, no, the weapons. So it's not the weapons DPS that's useful. It's actual. It's stat, or not stat. It's affix or whatever. It's
affix stick or whatever you want to put on it. You don't need the DPS or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. No. I ran zero. So on day 1 Asian server, I noticed a lot of people were trying to run DPS Moto, and there were like 3 or 4 of us with 0 DPS. I was number 6 on the Asian server. Out of the total, I was number 1 as Moto, and like 2 or 3 days later, they caught on that, hey, this axe doesn't do jack, or this hammer doesn't do jack.
In my head, I feel like I can make an unarmed time space, but I have no idea. I don't even know if it's like, what's the build, but I know you can make an unarmed build, and I want to try it because it sounds fun.
Yeah, do it. It'll be great. You're going to need time.
Bleh, I don't have any
Or
time.
you can Asmongold it and be like, hey, give me stuff. Give me FE.
There's no trading
give
in the
FE?
game. No, I don't need
Not
to
yet.
take it.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's what Staring was saying. He's like, unarmed's cool. It's really expensive. It's really expensive, which is totally understandable. But yeah, you could totally do it. But like I said, up next is Wilt, and then we're gonna do Corrosive Shot, and then I don't know. Those are the next two.
Powerful Shame says no frost impact build or laser build or unarmed. Says laser build if you're going unarmed. No.
Post crap items for really expensive, and we can fill the orders. Oh no! Now Celsius is talking.
Powerful Chamois. Moto statue. Thank you.
What do you think? You think she owns XD and they'll just go make?
No, but she could have one commissioned for us. Out of the goodness of her heart.
Hey, what do you guys think about my background? Like switching it with the season. So like Halloween, so now it'll be like autumn, or like, you know, be Thanksgiving, and then it'll be Christmas, and then it'll be St. Patrick's, and
You could.
You do you.
Yeah.
Guilty's like, what's wrong?
I mean, I'm fine with it. Well, Thanksgiving already happened in Canada, though. It happens in October for them, so they might be confused.
I'm gonna redo my whole background too, and I'm getting a new chair. We can't have Corsair.
Are you getting
what's wrong with your current chair?
Because
Like-
maybe I've gotten permission to get a free upgrade chair.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, yeah, understood. Your assistant needs one too. Just make sure you put it on the books like that.
In Florida.
Hey, last I checked, someone's wife is an executive assistant for multiple states away. So
Oh,
makes sense.
the
It makes
spider
sense.
has taken over. I'd rather you have more time in game than worry about your backdrop, Aaron, but that's just me. Well, luckily it's just you. And I see your
Dark's
name.
good, though.
I see your name right here. There you go. Oh, you're gone. You're gone.
Powerful Chamois. It will look at
In the
a
background.
Moto statue would look great in the background. You are absolutely correct.
I already told XD that I want the Carino statue right here. And they said, hey, we could send you a bunch of those little ones. I was like, I don't want the little ones. They go, well, we only have one.
Do they have little motos?
8-inch minimum, like, you know, like that.
Yeah, they should release. They should get in touch with McFarlane Toys and have action figures produced.
I think right now they're trying to create co-op. So, you know.
There's a different team that does that, and it only takes one person to talk to McFarlane.
That's the merchandise team. They
Yeah.
don't need to be tech.
Powerful Chamois, you're promoted. Go talk to McFarlane.
Yeah, put it in there.
See how it works? It could be that easy.
It could be that easy. Okay.
I wouldn't turn that job.
I think that's gonna do it tonight. I think we got through all of our topics, and I just can't look at Guilty's face anymore, as much as I love this man.
That's actually a nice.
Well,
look,
that's
though.
good because I'm upstairs, sir.
Oh, great. Carino is so meh. You take that back. He's actually considered.
Whoa, really?
He's actually considered the worst character. So
I never
Yeah,
played
but he
him.
looks the best.
he's considered the worst tier-wise character.
Yeah, I can see that.
See, that's good. Then I'm gonna master him, and all my builds will be like, they're okay. And then they'll be like, hey, dude, we gotta buff Carino because he sucks. And then he buffs him, and now everyone likes it. So, Carino was the only class so far I didn't make it through the story with.
Carino-
Daft, I can't handle your mic anymore, and you're gonna freak out. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're at the end. Okay, everybody. We can hear that. We are at an hour and 16 minutes into this podcast. As always, thank you all for coming by. We'll be back to our regular scheduled program with our backgrounds and Guilty's face, and the spiders will be down. So that will be good. Guilty, go ahead. What do you got to say?
So So for the Patreons, I have this. It's last year's one chip challenge, and I'm going to do something stupid with it and put it in my mouth and record it for you all.
Can I see that live? How bad? Wait, put it up on the screen again.
It's the one chip challenge. It's the 2021 version because it's not the one that turns your tongue blue. Apparently,
I'm trying to read. I'm trying to read the box. Thank you. One chip challenge. Carolina Reaper.
It's and scorpion pepper.
Scorpion pepper.
So from what I'm told, this is terrible.
The hell is scorpion pepper? I'm looking it up right now.
Scorpion pepper is something you should put on your breakfast sausage tomorrow. You should go to buy some right now and tell me how it was. It's gonna be recorded for you guys. You can laugh at my reaction or whatever. Enjoy.
Is it that hot?
Yes.
Like it'll like
Supposedly.
kill you?
We'll find out. It had warnings. Like it like says don't like touch your eyes and stuff, but I would assume that's anything that's hot. And from what I understand, it's very hot. I don't know. It says do not eat if you are sensitive to spicy foods, allergic to peppers, nightshades, or capsaicin, or are pregnant or have any medical conditions.
You'll be fine.
Any medical conditions. Keep out of reach of children. After touching the chip, wash your hands with soap and do not touch your eyes or other sensitive areas. Seek medical assistance should you experience difficulty breathing, fainting, or extended nausea. Extended nausea.
One of the hottest peppers in the world. Aside from the heat, scorpion peppers have a very desirable fruity flavor.
Yeah, it's like the habanero. It's fruity. That's a good pepper actually.
All right.
Yeah, but enjoy everybody.
Sweet. All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. This Week in Action, podcast 38 is now in the books. So what we do now is we go over to Patreon and we film a bonus hour. So that is for the Patreons only. And as you can see here on the screen, we've got a new little scroll for the Patreons. So we say this, we now have the thank you up here. I have the thank you at the end of every one of my YouTube videos. You get in the VIP lounge in the Discord. You get a special title in the Discord. You get to listen to that bonus hour. You get to check out the weekly blog posts, lots of goodies, and you get extra wheel spin entries for custom merch at the end or beginning of every month. And Exatheus, because of that, won last month. And then based upon the tier you sign up at, there are other goodies. So check out the Patreon. I was asked today, what is the best way to support me into the future? From a financial standpoint, Patreon is the best. But of course, all the likes, all the shares, all the comments, all the views, all of that is free. And I do not take that for granted. Thank you all so much. So we're going to move over to Patreon right now. Daft, I'd say I'd give Daft the final word, but his mic doesn't work. So Guilty, you get the final word.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. I took the final word. Bye.